Hi, everyone. My name is Alma Lopez, and I'm the Partnerships Manager for the Cal State University Entertainment Alliance. Before we start, again, we'd just like to make sure that everybody stays on mute. And also, if you have any questions during the conversation, we kindly ask that you drop them in the chat. And then after the conversation, we're going to be answering them like one by one from the chat. So just drop them in the chat. So I'm really happy to welcome today Joey Flores, who is the film coordinator at Macro. And for those of you who might not be familiar with Macro, Macro is a media company that produces film, television, digital content with a focus on telling authentic and inclusive stories. They're known not just for like the projects that they produce, but really for how intentional they are about access, opportunity, and just really building careers behind the scenes. So thanks, Joey, again for spending this time with us. We're really excited to learn from you today, specifically about the internship program. And I'm going to let you take it away and introduce yourself and, tell us about the the macro internship program.
Totally. So
Mhm.
what's up, guys? My name is Joey. Happy to meet you virtually. As Alma said, I'm the film coordinator here at Macro, so which essentially means I'm the junior for the film team, and a manager for interns. One of two manager for interns. Our other manager couldn't make it today, but yeah. So happy to meet you guys. I'm very familiar with Cal States, love them, big fan. Grew up in LA. Um, yeah, so I guess just a little bit about macro. Alma gave a great like log line, but I would just say that macro's expansive and looking to bridge a lot of gaps across a multitude of what's the word, pillars, I guess you could say. So we do film and TV production. We do representation through our arm called M88. We have a brand agency just called Macro Brand Team, and we're in the midst of launching a Macro Foundation, which is our more philanthropical efforts. Because I think the world needs it really badly right now. But yeah, I mean, it's a 10-year-old company. It's fairly young, but the amount that they've been able to accomplish. I've been here for 3 years, but in the 7 years before me, they've been able to accomplish a ton, and it just keeps going at an astronomical pace. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you need to know about those, I mean, film and TV, I'm on the film side, like I mentioned. We also have TV internships. And yeah, just a little bit about our credits, I guess. Most recently, we had Goat come out this past weekend. If you haven't seen it, I actually haven't seen it either, but I will watch it. I'm gonna watch it this weekend I have a bunch of nephews and stuff. But yeah, Goats just came out recently. Opus was last year with IO Debris, One of Them Days with Kiki and SZA. And then our TV projects, we have a lot on the docket that are gearing up for pre-production, I believe. But our credits are like Hentified, which we started as a digital series that was then picked up by Netflix, Raising Dion on CW, and most recently Government Cheese was on Apple. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these stories you'll notice, all of these stories rather, are led by people of color, diverse voices, marginalized voices, whatever that means, I guess, in the larger scale of things. But for these projects, it really is just um, a bit of like social construct, right? Like we want to say something, we want to give our audience a little bit of medicine. That being said, our sort of trajectory now is that medicine is still happening, but we just want it to taste a little bit better. So like One of Them Days, I guess, like you can look at that and think gentrification, financial literacy, themes like that. That's always going to be integral to our storytelling, as is the diversity before and behind the camera. Um, that's just our cornerstone, right? That's just a pocket that has been unfilled for far too long in this business. So I mean, I really am a big fan of Charles King, who's our founder. Well, I guess I should have started with that. Charles King's our founder, incredible guy, nothing short of a visionary. He came from WME, started this place, like I said, 10 years ago, and well, I guess now 11, it's 2026. Wow. And yeah, it's an onward and upward journey. It's really exciting. Our representation arm, M88. We've got clients like Damson Idris, who's recently seen an F1. Um, Taraji Henson, she's got a couple projects with Netflix coming out shortly. Yeah, I mean it's a really exciting place to be. It's been really gratifying to see a lot of people of color, and a lot of like-minded people, a lot of people with different perspectives in glass offices, which is for me one of the best parts about this place. It's been really inspiring. So yeah, excited to have interns that get to absorb that and see it. So I guess just a little about our internship structure. It really is, as an intern, you're really integral to film, TV, M88 brand. We all have interns. But speaking for the film side of it, particularly, you're very, very important to us. We need all the hands that we can get. We're a very lean team. I want to say it's like 6 or 7 people for us, and we're a full-blown like independent studio, right? Like with it's a lot of work. With that work comes submissions, it comes research, it comes talent tracking. I mean, there's just a number of things that we ask our interns to do, specifically with reading. I remember interning when I was in college, and I don't remember ever having the level of involvement I've seen our interns here have. And I'm not even like trying to like spoon, like, I'm not bullshitting you. I don't know how to say that, but I'm not really not bullshitting you. Like, I have not seen anywhere in the places that I've interned, and I interned at quite a few places. No one was, I think, as intentional about the way they assign things or the way they actually listen to your feedback. It's very, very important because, again, we're one of the few places in this business that welcomes um, perspective and different opinion. And what's really important to to our leaders, particularly Charles, are new like generational perspectives, right? I'm Gen Z, but I'm barely Gen Z, so I'm like holding it down for everybody for now. But I'm 97, right? And Charles really loves that perspective, whether you're Gen Z or even if you're not, like even if you're an intern that's outside of that age range. Every perspective matters and all of it is important. And we listen to everything. We sincerely do. So I mean, trip coverage, I think, is just one of those things in production and development internships that are just a part of the game, right? It's just a part of the business. But you know, at Macro, we do love to expand beyond that and get our interns to track talent or projects that come out of festivals. Sundance just passed. We had interns build a grid for us about like what sold, who were the hottest filmmakers, talent. Are they new filmmakers? Are they diverse? Like, what are they doing? What are they bringing to the table? Um, we've had films there, I think, the past 9 years, like something like that. So we love Sundance, right? That's one of them. South by Southwest is another that's coming up. We'll also have the same thing. We do it for Berlin, for Cannes, for like every film festival, um, large or small. I mean, we have like the Nalip is another one that Los Angeles does. Where we really just want to track talent and we trust our interns enough to be able to let us know, like, how is that? What are you into? Who's cool? Like, like as much as we would love to have our ears to the ground all the time, we really, really, again, put our faith into our interns. I'm beating that as the dead horse, right? I'm so sincere when I say like interns are very important to us. Opinion, taste, perspective. I mean, all of it is just really, really necessary here. So I mean, that's just a couple of things our interns are doing. I guess like applying for it, right? I should probably go over that too, huh? So we have a summer internship coming up. I believe the start date is the third week of May. Do not quote me on that. We have a production coming up this summer, so we will need all hands on deck, right? So interns are absolutely welcome, and we'll need them, and then we'll see a lot. But yeah, I mean that internship program, sorry, application opens end of May around there. Um, and essentially, it's your typical process, right? Like I mean, I'm more of a person that loves face to face, and I know that's really hard to say. Like I don't want to like again give you guys any bullshit because I'm not here to waste your time. But I really do love a face-to-face situation. But unfortunately, ours are online. It's just like the easiest. We're based in Hollywood, and on top of internship stuff, I mean, I have a lot of other things. Everyone has a lot of things going on here. But that being said, we still try our absolute best to be intentional about what we're doing. We're not like we love someone that comes well recommended, of course, but this is not one of those places where it's like, how do I say this properly? Um, it's not like a lot of nepotism doesn't typically come through here, is what I'll say. Um, and that's another thing that I loved, right? I mean, I applied for this internship in college, didn't get it. I was devastated. But here we are. I kind of won that battle, right? But yeah, I mean, those internship applications are opening up soon. Um, in our internship program application, like specifically, there are questions like, the standard, like, tell me about yourself. What do you like? Why macro? Like, you're going to see all of those. Like, that's just inescapable. What really matters for us is something different, something fresh. I mean, we hear a lot of the word diversity and inclusion, those words, and I get it, right? Like macro has like that's our foundation. So I totally get it. I think the problem there is that everybody says that. So I would like, even if you have to use a thesaurus, dude, like do something that's outside of just that word or just that, I guess, concept. Because yes, it's important and it's always going to be important. It's been important to me since forever, since I started interning, right? Um, it's just we are looking for something further, something a little bit deeper, a little more nuanced, even. So really just apply yourself in a bit, no pun intended, in a big way, like as best as you can in these applications, because we do read through all of them. It's myself and my partner Sydney. We read and lock down with like a Celsius and like dinner after hours at work and just like read through these because I think it's really, really important to not only have interns that are like, capable and smart and have great taste and all of those things that are just like, I don't not believe that you guys don't have those, right? Like we want something a little further, like a little deeper, something that we can connect to, something that we hope that can connect with macro and foster something beyond this internship, right? Like a lot of internship programs are what, 3, 4 months, hours included. Like we are very, very big on fostering relationships beyond just our calendared whatever. We have interns here at 88 and at Macro alike that were hired because of their performance in internships. Whether it was like they interned, then a year later they came in, or they got hired throughout out of their internship. Like we really, really keep a robust and dedicated network because again, it's family. Once you're in Macro, you're family. Um, which is great. So yeah, I really, really will say don't undersell yourself in those questions. Also, don't freak out about it, right? Like it's not the end of this isn't brain surgery, but also just really just put your best, like anything forward. I hate that sounds so lame. Oh God, I wish I had a better way to say that. But just like do your best. I don't know what else to say. Because we do read through them. That's the last I'll say of that. Um, let's see. I mean, I'm trying to think of like our intern program at large here. I guess qualifications, we have started to require a sample coverage. If you haven't done script coverage before, we recommend like if on deadline, for example, every most studios that submit their projects for Academy Award recognition, they'll post their screenplays to like Deadline or to Variety, one of the trades. And we really, really advise if you don't, it doesn't mean you can't have experience at all. Like it's not doesn't mean that at all. We just really want to hear your voice, which is why we're requiring the coverage piece. Um, we just started that this past semester, but like I was saying, Deadline puts their nominees scripts on their websites on their website, and you can read that and like fill out the coverage from there if you want to be like super excited about it or pick a project that you like or something that you really identify with. That's the way that I would do it, honestly. Um, yeah, just so that we have an example or something like what we can follow so we can like either A, like bring you in and like help you out with it a little bit because the problem is that we cannot always hold a hand, right? Which I would love to. Like I would love to sit there and do all of those things, but unfortunately that's just the name of the game where like I mentioned that we're tiny. We're tiny, dude. There's always something going on. So we do love a little bit of like a personality of an intern where they can support themselves a little. But we're always here, of course, to help. So I don't want you to be discouraged, is really what I'm trying to say. Like there's always a way to figure it out, so long as your voice and your writing and like this you think they would be self-explanatory, but your grammar, as long as those are all great, we're good. Like you have a solid chance. Like let's do it. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think back to our most recent hiring process. We really look for, I mean, this is like any job really is great communication. We like to over communicate here. We're a very small team, not just our film team, but like macro at large. I want to say there's like about 45 employees. We all know each other. We all like it's an open door policy. Charles, our CEO, James, the president of film, my boss, like these people will literally walk up to you and introduce themselves and strike up a conversation. Like, it's not you're not a number here. You're not the intern getting coffee here. Like it's sincerely not like Do you know how much coffee I got when I was an intern? Oh my God. And I'm not bitter about it. I'm happy that someone's doing something different. You know what I mean? Like, thank God. It was such a lame thing to do, ask your intern when you have like, all these young minds. Anyway, that's a tangent. But that being said, open communication, we want to know you. We want to like see you as a person, see your taste, your personality, your humor. What do you like to listen to? Like, for example, my boss came from music. He did 12 years in music before he came to film, and asks interns about their music taste. Like, what are they listening to? Is Gen Z still like, does Gen Z know what dark wave music is? Like he's like really into a lot of music, and I'm trying my best to keep up. So like, if you know dark wave music, you already have a leg up over me. So like, there you go. Let's see. How else would I guess we can start with mistakes then. Is that a good place to go? Um, mistakes that people make. I already kind of alluded to it twice. Grammar. I mean, I get it, right? Brushing and typing, and like my grammar is abysmal. There's so many tools to combat that now, guys. Come on, please, come on. Be careful with it. Just like that, I can't excuse it anymore. I used to. Like forever ago, I used to be able to be like, what's one typo? But there's just too many ways to avoid it now. So that's one. But the other is, again, the under explaining of yourself, like the why macro. Again, the amount of people that use the word diversity in our applications the past couple of years. I mean, and I get it's not a bad thing. It's like a good problem to have. People want this, and I love that. And then in fact, it like, what's the word? It like inspires me a little bit, honestly. Um, but it's just we need something different because it ended up becoming a problem where we couldn't differentiate specific people from specific people. So yeah, really just apply yourself into those things. Don't undersell it. Do not use the word or use any slang really. And like these are things that you would think that are like, okay, like duh, but sincerely don't do it. Like, I mean, you would be very surprised. Um, yeah, I mean, and also in interviews. I want to talk about interviews too. I mean, so our application process, well, I kind of went over step one where it's like online, and then we do an interview where you'll meet myself and my partner Sydney. And so we try to do a third with one of the seniors on our team, but they're all like either on set or in pre-production or doing whatever. Um, but in those initial interviews, a lot of, I think, misconception with how do I say this actually? Um, with macro in particular, I mentioned personality and I mentioned individuality a lot. I really mean that because a lot of the time we get a lot of the conditioned ChatGPT answers, which like don't get me wrong, I understand the allure of ChatGPT. I don't use it myself, but I do understand that it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. That being said, if you're going to use it, don't let it be just a script. You know what I mean? Like insert yourself into it. Put your own humanity into it because it does translate even if it's over Zoom. Like we can always tell. And I don't like if you're not great with your words, like totally get it. We just want to hear more of you. You know what I mean? It's not like we're knocking you for doing it or knocking you for not using it. Like we really just want to get to know you, like not a software, sincerely. Um, and so yeah, like a lot of the times they come really buttoned up. Um, they come really like I don't know, I guess just really like this is not a finance job, you guys. Like this is not it's entertainment at the end of the day. Remember that. Um, or on the opposite side, you join late, don't join at all. I mean, like I would if you have to cancel and like you can't make it, just cancel it, right? Because then that just ends it just puts a bad taste in people's mouths. It's a very small industry. That's all I'll say about that. Um, I mean, I think that's everything I had to say. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, I don't know. Alma, do you think I'm missing anything? Andrea, like help me out here.
I have a couple more questions, and then we can maybe start with the questions that the students have.
Yeah,
But
totally.
I know that currently you have a student from Cal State interning with you. Can you
Yes.
maybe tell us a little bit about like why he stood out, like in the process, or maybe what you think could make some of our students different from some of your other candidates from different schools?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. I mean, we're in Los Angeles, right? So that being said, a lot of the buzz schools, I guess you can call them, come through here through like alumni or whatever, USC, UCLA, Chapman, whatever. Um, with our intern from Cal State Northridge, he in his application did not use the word diversity once, and I'm not even joking. He said a lot about how that stuff is important to him, but he gave his own twist to it. It had a personal anecdote to it, which I loved. I mean, I really just responded to. And it was well thought out. I mean, those responses were not one sentence. It wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this to fulfill a quota of my applications. Like, you know what I mean? I used to do that. Like when I was interning, like I have to do five and then I can go out, whatever. Like it wasn't that. It was so well thought out. It was so like informed, and he had a perspective about not just entertainment but himself in his taste, how his taste was like developed. It was just a lot of personal things. And you don't have to like give me your trauma. I just want to know why you like what you like. Like why do you like comedy? Why do you um like Kubrick if you like Kubrick? You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people do, but like I just want to hear why you do. And he was masterful at that. So of course, after that, we wanted to meet him on Zoom, and he was just well prepared and knew like he we had our very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like um sort of routine questions that you ask in those first types of intro interviews. And he had an opinion on all of them. For one in particular, we love to ask what's a hot take about film or TV, like what's something that everyone loved but you hated or everyone hated but you loved. And he had a great answer. I don't remember what it was now, but he had a great answer. And me and my interview partner were like, wow, like that's great, you know? And there was a conversation. And I think that was very, very imperative in that moment. Um, yeah, it was just great. And I would again just encourage everyone to have an opinion. You would think that that's the easiest or like the first thing people go to, but it's really not. A lot of people think that you want to, a lot of people I think say what they think we want to hear. And that's not necessarily the truth. I mean, we love to hear something as long as it's respectful, obviously. Like, we're not trying to like harm anybody or be rude to anyone, but like a lot of the time we want to just hear like what do you actually feel and like defend it, fight it. Um, I think we asked a question about Honora. That was one of my favorites from last year. Well, a lot of people around me didn't like it, right? And so I was fighting for my life defending it, and that's part of the reason. Like that's part of like what the joy is, what a part of the camaraderie is, right? Is like at the end of the day, it's still art and entertainment. What keeps you inspired? What do you want to keep you inspired? So yeah, it's a lot of. I hate sounding like a broken record, but it really is personality. It really is perspective.
Great. Well, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then I'm gonna start with the questions from students. So obviously, it sounds like soft skills, are super, super important. But what skills, maybe, or like knowledge, do you recommend students develop, like right now while they're in school? Like, for example, editing software, I don't know, script analysis, entertainment law, like any kind of skills or that they could be learning right now while they're in class that you recommend for this opportunity.
Totally. That's a good one. So I would say first, another question that's on our in some of our interviews is what's up and coming talent that you're tracking. That's literally an opportunity to plug your friends. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people, I think it went over our heads. Maybe that was like an us thing where we didn't phrase it right, but we wanted to like hear like who is in your network? Who are you talking to? Like, who are you? A lot of entertainment, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but to does how do I say this? A lot of entertainment is relationships. This is not new information. I know you guys know this. It's relationships, who you know, all of that stuff. Who would you know now? Like it doesn't have to be like, you know, you don't have to know Spielberg. You don't have to know like these crazy big people. We just want to know who around you do you like enjoy? Like who's what are your friends doing? What are you doing? Are you producing something? Like it could totally be that. So that's another question that I did want to flag. Also, yes, script analysis is one. We are very big again on script coverage here. We sometimes have our interns present why it's a yes or a no, why we're passing or considering a script. And if it's a consider, a senior member will read it with you and then you guys can talk about it. You know what I mean? So it is really important. It's not like you're going to read it and it goes into a file and it's nothing. We consider all of our submissions incredibly important, obviously. I think as a lot of studios do. Um, so script analysis is a very important. We don't want it to be like, you know, you don't agree because you don't like the vibe of it. right? Like I think a lot of the time that's happened where it's like, like I'm not really fucking with the vibe. You know what I mean? Which I get, right? I totally get that, but I need to know what's under the vibe. Does that make sense? So script analysis, I think, does that. It teaches you that. It's really helpful. As for entertainment law, I would say a lot of buzzwords, I think, like with deal making, I think would help you in the long run. And you don't have to, I mean, listen, I am very, very novice with that, right? Or whatever's lower than novice even. I don't know. Don't know a lot of entertainment law, but I do know the buzzwords. When I was an intern, I remember looking and writing down what these words I didn't recognize and listening for them in class or just looking them up on my own. So yeah, that's a really good facet I think to track. Trying to see what else. What you can do now. I mean, just like keep your taste open. I know that sounds like silly or easy, but like sincerely, a lot of people are um forget to. I forget to sometimes where I'm like, I can't see this project that everyone loves because I haven't even done my due diligence of like consuming art, consuming media. And that's something to always like get a handle on. You know what I mean? Uh yeah, I mean, I think I'll say those. I'm trying to think of anything else. If I think of anything else, I'll let you guys know. Like, let me write this down. But
So I'm going to jump into the questions then from the audience.
yeah, let's do it.
So let's start. Can you use a sample coverage from a previous class, or is it a new kind of sample coverage for this internship?
So the way that it works is we ask for a sample coverage from wherever it's from, whether it's a class, a previous internship, so long as you have the okay from that. Like we don't want you to break an NDA, basically, right? So whatever. But yeah, something it can be from a class, totally, like a script analysis piece. And then we'll have you cover something from our slate. It could be literally anything on our slate. Um, just so you kind of get the feel of it. We want you to have it happen in like real time, so like a couple days, 2, 3 days. So short answer, yes.
Okay. I see in the application that the internships are open to current students only. Would you still recommend applying even though I recently graduated, or are there other roles opening up soon?
I would recommend. That's a good one. I would say for summer, you can be recently graduated, I believe. I need to check my work on that. But I believe it's a spring internship application you're looking at. That was for college course credit, so that one you have to be a student. But the upcoming one in summer, I believe you can be recently graduated. I'll double check on that. And as for positions opening up, I mean, we're always growing. We're always like looking for, again, fresh help, right? So it really is just a matter of like which vertical grows first, whether like it's M88 or it's brand or whomever needs help first. But yeah, I would say that.
Actually, since you just mentioned like the verticals, can you explain like what the different verticals are like in on your team or just in the company?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
film. So our content studio is
Right,
film and
right.
TV. We have some digital stuff going on. Brand.
Mm.
We are a brand agency. So in our movies, like if you've seen One of Them Days, Church's Chicken plays a role in it. That was in partnership with our team and whoever represents churches to like get them in the movie, and they give us cash for it, and we like it's essentially like a little bit of a commercial. That's I believe brand partnerships. But we also do events. So we have our Oscar party coming up. We do a summer house event, which is essentially just a gathering of creatives, executives alike across the business, and just really just like hang out and just like day drink and like do a panel and play games, and it's cool. It's really fun. That's really just like again, just our branding. We also have a presence at Sundance. This past year we did not. We are unfortunately we are looking to do it in the future again. When it moves to Boulder, I think it's going to. But yeah, it's just a macro lodge. Again, it's just a gathering. It really is just a place for people to connect and break bread and all of those great things. M88, like I mentioned, is representation. It's yeah, writers, actors, directors, digital talent. I mean, it's really across the board. And like I said, our foundation is still developing, so I don't know a ton about it just yet, but it is our philanthropic efforts at large, really just across the board. Where we've been sort of like test driving a couple of things here and there, but I think one of the things that's so important to macro is community. And we kind of looked at ourselves and we're like, we should invest in community too, right? So it's like one of the next natural best steps. So yeah, those are really our verticals. It's um, yeah.
Perfect. All right, let me jump into more questions. What if you have no experience? Where should I get started? Do you require a portfolio for the application?
For film and TV, there's no portfolio required. Brand, I believe there is. I believe there is only because some of it, a lot of the branding internship requires, deck making and like what's your creative eye for a newsletter, things like that. So I believe there's one required for that. Um, so that's for portfolio and as for no internship or no experience at all. I mean, you're still encouraged to apply always. I mean, I want to clarify a little bit that like you don't have to know everything coming in here. At the end of the day, we're very, very grateful that people want to learn from us. Like that's always been, I think, the strongest piece that we've had, the strongest presentation that we've made for past interns. We want to learn. We want you guys to learn. We would love to learn from us, all of those things. So you don't have to have experience. All you have to have is a perspective, an opinion, um, and like a hustle. You have to have a work ethic. I don't want it to sound like it's easy and we're just chilling and holding hands. Like it is a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, you don't have to have experience. It's preferred always, right? Like it's nice to have that, but a lot of the time, problem is like with bridging the gap is we're just ignoring the ones that don't have experience, which I think sucks. I like if no one when I got my first internship and if that person hadn't taken a chance on me, I wouldn't be able to do anything like this. So we're always here, and a lot of people at as the managers here are in the same sort of bracket there where we feel the same way. Like we want to hear more from more people. Like we're don't want the same thing all the time, basically. So
So, I guess with that said, can you describe like what is a typical day? I'm sure there's like no one typical day, but just describe like one day at, macro, what it's like. And maybe also I'm curious, like say an intern was to start today, like what is it that's on your desk that you're just like, okay, I need them to work on this? Maybe those two questions from my end.
yeah. So a day at macro, I would say as for me or for as an intern.
Oh, for an intern. I mean, yeah, I mean a
Totally.
typical day for an intern on your team.
Yeah, so like interns get here, they're led up by us, by the intern managers, myself and Sydney. And it's typically, oh my gosh, we have a ton to read. What are you guys working on right now? You know what I mean? So we have an intern working on Wikipedia stuff right now. We have a intern working on um, grids that I mentioned, like just what's the word I'm looking for? Industry knowledge grids, kind of. So it could be that. It could be as quick as we need this script covered by like 5 p.m. But also you should want to connect with one of our seniors so that you know what the senior is looking for in what you're reading. Because again, it's an open door policy, but they love to connect, they love to talk. Um, yeah, I mean, it really could be anything. I know coming up we have some like events planned and stuff like that, but sincerely, like it varies so intensely. Like there's just always something to do, always something to read. We have two executives heading into pre-production. So that work will only increase like tenfold, right? So it'll be more reading, it'll be more connection and more cast list building. It could be location, what's the word I'm looking for? Like tax break location research. It could be anything. It's just a number of things, really. Just like we use every hand that we have to help us out and like get things across the board because we trust our interns, you know? So if you guys were to start on my desk today, or I guess for our department today, there are two pieces of two scripts that came in from places I wish I could share, but I cannot, that we need urgent reading for, right? And we have a deal with a studio that's yet to be announced that how do I say this without breaking my NDA? That we would need research for, right? Like just previous research on projects that are similar to what they're bringing to us or what we should present to them. Like can you find this mandate for that studio? You know what I mean? It's things like that. Um, uh, that could go either way. And I'm thinking of what's in my inbox right now. A lot of it also would just be like, do you want to shadow me? Like a lot of the time, the job after college, after interning, is mailroom or assistant or production assistant. I've done all three. Um, and so I love to talk, right? So I mean, I am welcoming our interns to cover me or to shadow me rather, while I roll calls or while I do scheduling because there's at least 43 things I have to schedule for my boss right now that are sitting in my inbox. And like I would love for you guys to see how overwhelming it sounds, but not actually is. There's also a lot of notes that I would love for you guys to look over just to see like how you're transcribing a meeting or how you're transcribing a piece or whatever that may be. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of back and forth, I think. Um, and I think I do want to mention one thing too is that at Macro, literally anybody could walk in, talent, or non-talent, whatever that is. And we hope that you practice the utmost discretion because you would be surprised again how that's not common sense for everyone in the world. Because again, like you're here as part of the family. Part of the family is you kind of like keep things to yourself. You're not taking photos of people. You're not taking photos of desks even. It's a lot of highly confidential stuff that you're privy to here. And we love to, again, welcome our interns into things so long as they reciprocate that respect, right? So that cannot go underspoken because literally just because someone walked in right now and I was like, there you go, you know? Um, and yeah, I mean it's a day at Macro is a lot. I play music too, like in the in the room or in the office because I can't work in silence and like Charles and our brand officer Stacy love that too. They love music. It's got to be a vibe. So they're listening to D'Angelo, you know? Maybe we'll order lunch later in a bit. I don't know. So yeah, it's a lot, I will say.
What's your favorite thing about working? I mean, it sounds like a great place. What's your favorite thing, and what's like the most challenging thing about working at Macro?
I would say the my favorite is the collaboration, which I guess goes hand in hand with the people.
Hmm.
Um, Literally yesterday we were talking about I don't even know what, just literally nothing, just like shooting the shit. It's lunchtime, whatever. And myself and my colleague came up with an idea for a film to pitch, and now we're like looking for writers to write it. You know what I mean? It's like that's incredible. I love that I'm able to do that here at places that I was at previously as an intern or as not an intern, like just was not welcomed that way. And I think what makes it so special is that I know that our seniors are willing to hear it, right? They're willing to like actually hear what we came up with, whether they like it or not, whether it's for them or not. Like we've brought some very, very niche queer or Gen Z or like I'm Mexican things that they're like, I don't get it, but it sounds like you're into it. Go for it. You know what I mean? Like show me what it is in a month, that kind of vibe, which I think is great. Challenging, I think, is the workload. It's a lot, dude. Like I cannot sugarcoat it. It's a lot of work, and wish that there was, um, I guess, sort of. Sometimes I wish there were more hands on deck, but I am also glad to have the tight knit situation that we have. But that's why I'm so grateful for the interns. You know, they come in and they help us out and sort of let some air to the tires because I think once it's a little more harmonious and people are less stressed out or overwhelmed, it just like works out since like a lot better. So yeah, I'll say that. Those are kind of basic answers. I don't love that, but you know.
So is any of the work for the interns remote, or do you expect them to be in the office, like office hours, 9 to 5? Because I know obviously in the business, there's really no such thing as office hours, but I mean, I'm assuming there is for interns or some kind of a schedule
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
place to
so
be.
yeah, so for summer, if you're an intern who's in school, we of course will work around your school schedule. I
Mhm.
mean, that's always first. It's always most
Mhm.
important. Um, but for example, if you were here now, like we was also working around your schedule. If you're not a student during the summer, then it's typically 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, we're in office. That's what it is now. That could change in the next couple of weeks. Um, it'll be less time, not more. So like I would say the max time is 40 hours a week, 9 to 5. We're based in Hollywood, like the heart of Hollywood. So yeah, I mean, office hours are, like I said, we are here all the time, it seems. Um, so our interns, we like to have a little more, what's the word? A little more balance, you know what I mean? Like a little more of breathing room, I guess, to just like also live your life and be a student or a student on break even. School is not easy. So
Um, just lastly, if you can just repeat like what the deadlines are. I understand like the applications are now open for spring, and also what is the length of the internship?
yes. So I want to say our applications are set to open around the 20th to 27th of April for summer.
Hmm.
And they'll be closing around the 11th or the 18th of May. Um, that's just to, give us some time, give us some leeway. And I would say that that program would start at the last week of May or the top of June. Just so we're like sincerely ready for the summer.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, ready to just keep it going. What was that last piece you mentioned? I'm sorry.
How long? What's the length of the internship?
Oh, it's through, let me see, August 24th. Or sorry, 21st should be the last day. So May to August. Um,
Okay.
sometimes longer, sometimes we'll be able to keep you on through September, but it really just depends on things beyond my control.
Got it. And I'm assuming there's like a link, or maybe you can share a link with me later, or the website where they can go to get all this information, and we can always like send it to all the attendees.
Yeah, totally. I can send it
Hmm.
to you.
Hmm.
I've got to connect with our head of people and culture and
Okay.
our other intern supervisors. But yeah, uh,
Yeah. So send it to me, and then what I'll do is we track all of the folks that attended this call, and we'll do like a thank you email and put the link in there for them to apply.
awesome. Sounds great.
So does anybody have any other questions? Burning desires, don't be shy. Okay, it looks like Marty has a question. How did you prepare for the interview?
Like for when I
For
was interviewing.
yeah, when you were interviewing with Macro.
Oh God. When I was interviewing for a macro as an intern, I mean, gosh, I mean, I didn't get it. So I don't, as an intern, so I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
much help there. But for internships I did get,
Mhm.
I was nervous, of course, sweaty palms, all of those things. But I really just made sure I knew what was going on in the industry around me. I knew what was the most recent articles in the trades. At this time, I mean, there were a lot of things with previous studio owners doing awful things at the time. So I knew a lot of stuff like that because that's just what was at the center of conversation. And I also knew what was coming out, what my favorite filmmakers and favorite actors had coming up next. I tried my best to look for mandates from studios and production companies just to see what they're looking for. One thing I did for my macro interview actually was I brought in a list of creators I think macro could work with or should work with. I that didn't go so well for me because I didn't check if they had already worked with them. So do your due diligence. Like I did not. Um, yeah, I mean it was really a lot of preparation with things that I love, like which is entertainment. It's the film industry at large. Um, and I also dressed, with the collar. It was and like I was in like basketball shirt or something because it was on Zoom, but like, I tried to present myself a little bit better than I normally would. Yeah, I really just tried to be conversational is really what it was. I didn't want to go in being um robotic. We have a lot of AI already. I don't think we need any more. Um, yeah.
So, and I think it's interesting that you mentioned that you applied for the internship, you didn't get the internship, but then you came back and you got hired as a full-time employee. So, like that time in between, did you like stay in touch with them? Like, how did you build like that relationship? Was there a relationship, a recommendation? Like, how did that happen? Because I mean, some folks might be like, well, I didn't get the internship. I'm not, I don't want to work at that company anymore, whatever. But you remained obviously in touch with somebody, or it didn't like get you down about not getting the internship. You still went ahead, and now you're actually working there. So like, what was that like?
I mean, the first thing I did was cry because I was obviously upset, and I at the time didn't take rejection well. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if I cried, but like I was disappointed, you know. And but the only thing I could have done at that time, this was I think 2019 or 2018, I cannot remember. Um, the only thing I really could have done was add the person who interviewed me on LinkedIn. And like that was all I could, that's all I did with it. And I really just kept track of that person is actually no longer with the company, but all I did was like keep track of like what he was posting, what he was into, what macro was doing. I always kept him like sort of under my thumb kind of thing, because they weren't always hiring at the time. They were much smaller than they are now. And I obviously had much less experience at that time than I do now. So when I didn't get that internship, I think had one more that I needed to fulfill. So I went with somewhere else. And I went to that internship, finished it, finished college, and I ended up at a talent agency at the top of 2021 or 2021. So fresh out of the pandemic, which was a nightmare, it was devastating, but we made it. I was in the mailroom, did my thing, still kept track of macro. I kept track of all the places I wanted to go, all the places that rejected me. Um, A24, macro, uh, I mean, whoever else I was interviewing with, I can't even remember now, but and I just kept track and was like, I know I don't want to be a talent agent. I just want to learn from these incredible talent agents. And I want to do my due diligence and do what the mailroom says to do. And so I did that. And the second that I started to look for jobs, I went back to that list. I was like, okay, what's this person from Macro doing now? Are they hiring? They were not, spoiler alert. The other places were hiring because I did my interviews. I did those applications. I went through all of it. Um, on the subject of knowing people and knowing relationships or having relationships, I was on the phone with my boss's colleague, and he was speaking to someone here at Macro, and that person mentioned that the desk that I got when I started here was hiring and whatever, right? And so that person said, "Oh, cool, send the resume." And they matched my resume to what they'd received before all that time ago that I'd interviewed. This is 2022, end of 2022. They saw that I'd applied before, was a big fan, liked all the stuff on LinkedIn, like whatever, was a little bit delusional about where I could go and how I would end up there. I would end up here. Um, and yeah, I just did the interview process, got the job and made everyone know that I was rejected from the internship. I was like, you guys are not getting rid of me. I'm like a scab. Oh wait, no, you get rid of scabs. I'm like a something. I don't know, I'm a scar. Um,
Ah,
but
wow,
yeah.
it's an amazing story. We have two more questions, or some questions just came in. So, should the coverage encompass an entire film or a certain amount of pages?
So we are quality over quantity always. So it's a film, right? We prefer you do film coverage for us. If you have TV, I think that should be fine. We just would prefer film, just because we do films. But how do I say this? Yeah, we don't need you to just word vomit every last thought. We just want to hear the most important pieces that you took from it, why you would recommend it or why you would pass on it. Like we really want to hear your perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong, with the summary is important, right? We want to know what the story is about, but we primarily looking for what you think of it because that's what's going to help us measure your taste, your acumen for responding to the literature. I mean, like really all of it. So it doesn't have to be like 12 pages. If it's like 6 pages or 5 pages, even sometimes that's a little bit long, you know? It's not an essay. It's not a big research paper. We really just want to hear what it is. So it's also a testament to your writing skills too. Uh, so yeah, it doesn't have to be long. Long doesn't mean great, right? Like quantity over quantity. We know quality over quantity.
Uh, Another question from Neil Northrop. What opportunities should you pursue after the internship?
I I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's a really hard industry right now. It's scary, and you guys know that. Like that's not you can look at the news and it's like everything's awful, whatever. I would always say still to lock into your networks in this moment and like interlink arms with whomever you're cool with, whoever you're creative with, whoever you know, drives that sort of creator's bone, I guess you could have. And gather together and keep an eye out across the board for what you're looking for. Typically, on paper, the next thing after an internship is you're graduating and whatever. You should be interning all through your graduation, I would say. I think that's kind of a given though. But like you should be interning all through graduation, and then after that, you should be looking at assistant jobs, whether it's an assistant at a TV studio or a film studio or a production company to a director, a writer, whomever. That's typically the next thing. A lot of people, including myself, go the route of the agency or a management company representation, really because it's just an all-encompassing view of the business. I didn't want to do it. Full disclosure, I didn't want to. I was like, nope, kept fighting, kicking, screaming. At the end of the day, I had bills to pay. Um, and I needed a job. Yeah. So I looked for everything. I was like, I'll do anything. I will just please God help me. And yeah, I found my gig and I ended up meeting like I ended up in the mailroom and met people that I still talk to today. Friends at Lucky Chap now, friends at Agbo, friends at like everywhere, right? And just from that mailroom class, like just that alone, let alone all the people that I met while I was on a desk outside of the mailroom, like calling offices, scheduling lunches, getting to know people. Like it's just a lot of getting to know people that are sort of like experiencing the same lifestyle that you are, where it's like really intense agency work. That is ultimately rewarding, right? Like I met a lot of people, like my best friend now, I met when she was in the mailroom and I'm going to her wedding next January. You know what I mean? Like it's such a beautiful step in my life that I'm so happy that I took. But you don't have that doesn't have to be your journey. Like it could also be like a friend of mine went directly to a TV studio and regrets not doing the agency, I will say, but it went directly to a studio and or like another one, yeah, went directly to a film studio and like worked on the show, the studio. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that take their different journeys. I just think the next step you should take should always be what's going to best benefit you by assessing what do I have the least of. For me at that time, at your time, that was connections and relationships. And I was like, what is everyone around me telling me to do? Go to an agency. So I did. And again, I did need to pay my bills and I needed money. But yeah, I would say that's the next best step. It taught me everything. It was like such a fun thing to do. It was hard. It wasn't easy by any means, but like it was very rewarding and very, very informative. So I hope I don't sound like a
Thank
textbook though.
No, thank you. So take one last question. I have no experience and I'm studying business marketing. What would you recommend to work on or even certifications that I can get into to make my application stand out a little more?
Business marketing, I would say. So funny enough, I actually pivoted from marketing to production and development when I was an intern. So what I did, if it's helpful to you now, I mean, it's a different climate, of course, like this thing changes day to day. But when I was at that point looking for what to do or how I could change things, all I really did, well, I added a minor, which was a little bit impulsive. I don't think I would have done that now, but I added a minor at the school that I was at and was like, okay, let me get to know everybody here because I'm realizing very quickly that's what I want to do. And I locked down a marketing internship at a place that doesn't even exist anymore. Not to date myself, but locked down a marketing internship there and was sort of like dancing around, kind of like, hey, how do I do what they're doing? I just talked to people at other places. That was one. So if you're not, you said, I think you mentioned that no experience. Is that what you said? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So if there's
she has
no
no experience.
experience, I would just read a ton. Like my I wonder if you'll hate me for doing this. My boss did a podcast where before I interviewed for him, I listened to this podcast in question, right? Where he's talking about always reading, always staying hungry, always staying inquisitive about everything that's going on. I think the best thing you can do right now is just read even if it's things that everyone has seen before, like one battle after another is on deadline. You know what I mean? Like, your friend, I'm sure, has a screenplay, or someone around you has a screenplay. I would love to read. You should love to read that. You don't have to give the notes. You don't have to do any of that. But I think the first thing to do that's smartest is to develop your taste, because that will inform you. Like, okay, this is my angle. This is my perspective. At the time when I was doing this, I thought I wanted to do horror only. I was like, horror is my thing. It's all I want to do. I still love horror, but like I don't think I want to make horror, if that makes sense. Um, that's all I was reading. That's all I was like looking up anything. I was reading the original script for Scream 4 at the time and like whatever. And really just trying to develop my taste so that I could have something to talk about things with, how do I say this? So I was able to talk about it with people basically, and really study what people before me did. It was as simple for me as looking on LinkedIn as people that started at internships that I wanted to be at. You know what I mean? Like at the time, again, it was like I wanted to intern at Blumhouse, I think. Um, so I looked at the Blumhouse people and was like, what did they do? What was their path? What was their trajectory? Just to see like, is there someone I can grab a coffee with? Is there someone like an assistant or like current intern that I could like meet with and be like, hey, will you connect me to this person? Or if not, like, how did you do this? Like, it really is just about utilizing the people around you, utilizing your own instinct and really tapping into your own confidence too. I will say that's something people didn't tell me was like, you have to really go for it. And I'm not necessarily always the person at that time. I was never the person to like jump for it or like initiate the conversation first. It was a really, really hard thing for me to start with. Um, for whatever reason, whatever I had going on at the time. Um, but when you do it, it's so rewarding. And it's also like no one's gonna be like, no, I hate you. The worst they'll say is no, I can't connect you. You know what I mean? I know that's easier said than done, and it's a lot to study and think of, but I mean, there's a lot to do, I think you have a lot ahead of you, like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? The world is your oyster kind of thing. You could do a lot before getting your feet wet in an entertainment internship. So
Oh, well, thank you so much. Just one last thing before we log off. Obviously you mentioned reading's really important, and we know they should be reading all the trades from Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, like all the things. But do you have a book or perhaps a website that's, maybe not like the traditional trades that you might recommend for students, to read? It's okay to pick like one book or one, just resource.
yes. So I would say one thing that you should watch is The Studio. It's on Apple TV and
Mm.
it just came out recently, particularly for the Chase Sui Wonders character. I think she's very, very well done. One of the creators of the show, Frida Perez, voiced that character a lot from her past experiences, which I mean, I'm not gonna air out her tea, but like, all of like she's just great. She's an incredible writer. Chase's character is literally my life, it seems like on screen. Maybe I'm like delusional, but like it sincerely feels that way. So that's a really good one that's more modern. There is a traditional classic one that's called The Mailroom. Don't remember who wrote it. I read it when I was interviewing for mailroom jobs. I'm Googling it right now. Um, Mailroom book. God. David Renzen. It's essentially about like what life is like when you're in the mailroom, and you're at the very bottom of the totem pole, coming on up into like the ranks of WME or CAA or all these other big agencies. It's a very old book, so it's a little dated. You'll notice it's very dated. And that's what my biggest takeaway was. But I do think it was a good read. I think it was a lot, mainly for the work that those people were putting in and like the avenues they were taking to do the extra mile. That was just all really informative for me. Um I want to say Ari Emanuel's coming out with the book. I haven't read it. I don't even know if it's out, but keep an eye out for that. I have a feeling that's going to be another one. Um Ari Emanuel, if you don't know, is like, CEO of Endeavor Content and
Mhm.
all those things. So but yeah, I would keep an eye out for that. I could be totally wrong on that though, by the way. I'm not like I don't know anything about it, but just have a gut feeling. So yeah, I would say those.
Well, thank you so much, Joey. This was great. I think, you gave us a lot of really amazing information. And like I said, you'll keep me posted with like links for applications and stuff. And we'll do a follow-up email in the next couple of weeks so students can apply. And everybody should follow Macro on Instagram at Stay Macro, and of course at the CSUEA, so that you can attend more of these amazing informational events. And we hope to see you soon again. Thank you, Joey.
Of
And
course,
thank you,
thank you guys.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Of course.